So what drew you to the field of pretrial and probation services?
I have always loved to interact with people. I majored in Spanish. I've always been drawn to uh, the immigrant story, refugees,
Mhm.
pretty much just folks that have a different story. So anyway, I first worked with some attorneys. I did immigration and criminal law. I was introduced to, the criminal justice system. I worked with a lot of, I worked with a lot of folks that were on probation, and that eventually brought me to the court. And it worked. I loved, working with folks, interviewing them, writing, and just helping them and being an advocate.
How has your role changed since you started your career?
I thought about that a lot. And it really has moved towards looking at how trauma kind of affects everyone, right? Like our childhood and how it affects the story. And when people come into the criminal justice system, really looking at the whole picture. And I think, SMC, just in my experience in working with other folks, I think you have to look at the whole picture. So I think we really have moved away from this punitive approach and really looking at the whole picture of the person and everything that affects their life and taking
Mhm.
that into account. So I really think the trauma aspect, the harm reduction aspect, and really working with all different agencies in the community, to help the people that we're working with.
So tell us about your most memorable experience with a client.
I've had a few, but I would say recently, I think everything's a little foggy because of COVID, but a few years ago, this gentleman reached out to me on Facebook. So he's been off probation for a really long time. And he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, I wanted to tell you that I was mad at you for many years,
Mhm.
but I realized that you and the whole probation situation saved me. And he said, I'm in Las Vegas. I'm sober. I have a relationship with my son. And I just wanted to thank you." Because he had had a DUI with us. He had numerous DUIs. Then he got, I think, his sixth one, and he did a lot of time with Superior Court. And he was very upset. I remember this, it was in your court. But anyway, so he went away for a while. And then years later, he said, he reached out and said, thank you, because, he looks at it differently now. And he said that we helped him, like that he changed his life, and he realizes now how much it did help him, as angry as he was, right, at the
Right.
time. So that was really touching. It was very emotional, and I thanked him for reaching out.
Mhm. Well, thank you. Thank you for all you do for the clients at Seattle Municipal Court.
You're welcome, Judge.